and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 forbidden tourist attractions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Hi, good morning. Hi, Ben.
Time up, don't sleep. All the crew lined up for the
Bitch, me too. The fuck?
Hey everybody, it's Lance B from Lance B Gaming Reacting, and we are back to react to Watch Mojo's Top 10 Forbidden Tourist Attractions You Are Not Allowed to Visit. Alright, so if they're tourist attractions, then they're not really, if you're banned, they're not really attractions, are they? But I'm curious what they have to offer. 10 places are forbidden, so let's see why they're so forbidden. And let's get into it.
3, 2, 1.
Hold on. We're having technical difficulties over here. Play.
There are some places you definitely don't want to put on your bucket list. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 forbidden tourist attractions. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at places that sound cool and interesting to visit, but are sadly off limits to tourists for one reason or another.
Okay.
Number 10, Ilha da Queimada Grande, also known as Snake Island, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Oh, Jesus.
Would-be visitors be warned. This island's name is not a misnomer or just a colorful nickname.
With an estimated 3,000 specimens living on the island, this small chunk of land has the highest concentration of venomous snakes in the world.
Situated in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Brazil, Snake Island is almost exclusively visited by scientists interested in studying the local wildlife. Because rising water levels cut the island off from the mainland, today it's completely overrun by the critically endangered yet extremely venomous golden lancehead pit viper. If bitten, symptoms attributed to its venom range from innocuous swelling to deadly brain hemorrhage and the premature death of vital tissue. Given that there are also
I hate snakes.
on Snake Island, being bitten out there is pretty much a death sentence. Unless you bring your own doctor, of course.
This is like the worst place I've ever been. It's like literally, it's like humans don't come here.
Number 9, Bohemian Grove, Monterey, California.
I've heard of
Imagination
Bohemian
is
Grove.
awash with stories of secret societies, but one very real organization does exist and holds its meetings in the isolated Bohemian Grove in rural California. This high society summer camp is a playground for the world's elite, having boasted members like former U.S. Presidents Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan.
At its height, there is said to be more than 2,000 men who attend, and as you can imagine, they are well protected by a trove of police.
Taking place in mid-July,
The police
the encampments last 2 weeks,
in their pocket,
with
huh?
infiltrators describing bizarre owl-centered rituals and plays performed for the entertainment of other members. The all-male membership can also use the facilities for private meetings, like a 1942 conference concerning the Manhattan Project. And while women, children, and non-members are allowed on the grounds, they must be gone by nightfall and cannot attend the mysterious July encampments. Number 8. Niihau, also known as the Forbidden Isle, Hawaii, USA. Many people joke about buying their own tropical island if they had the money. Well, in 1864, that dream became a reality for the Sinclair family, whose descendants are now called the Robinsons. This island was sold to Elizabeth Sinclair by King Kamehameha V, with strict instructions to preserve the native Niihauan way of life. The Robinsons have restricted outside access to it ever since, doing what they can to keep their promise to the king.
It is a privately owned island, and so nobody is allowed to come on here. Even the shoreline and the breakers are owned by the family.
Although the Robinsons have allowed some limited access to outsiders since 1987, it remains difficult to get permission to visit, and so Niihau is still nicknamed the Forbidden Isle. Number 7. Surtsey, Vestmannaeyjar Archipelago, Iceland. Named for the Norse fire giant Surtur and roughly half a square mile in surface area, Surtsey is a hotspot for geological activity. The Icelandic island was born in the 1960s thanks to a volcano, with the underwater eruption that created it lasting more than 3 years, from November 1963 to June 1967.
Holy sh!
Because of the relative rarity of a new island popping up pretty much out of nowhere, and to ensure that as few outside forces affect the island's ecological makeup as possible, only scientists may visit. These researchers are studying how life establishes itself on a new landmass, with Surtsey currently being inhabited by many seabirds, plants, and seals. Number 6. Poveglia, the Venetian Lagoon, Italy. Dubbed the most haunted place in the world by some, Poveglia Island was regularly inhabited until the 14th century and eventually served to defend Venice. But after that, it all went
Zach
downhill.
Baggins.
The island was used predominantly to quarantine plague victims en masse and
Oh, I
burn the
did
corpses.
see that. Ghost Adventures.
That legend says was formed by the
I
ashes
hate Ghost
of the
Adventures. I hate that
thousands
guy.
upon thousands infected by
He's
the
so
bubonic
pompous.
plague.
Then, in the 1920s, it became an insane asylum run by a mad doctor who ultimately committed suicide by jumping from the site's bell tower. Why?
Wow.
He said the ghosts drove him insane. Today it stands empty and dilapidated, and the Venetian authorities don't exactly encourage public access, though it does fascinate paranormal investigators and ghost hunters alike. Some may doubt it's haunted, but it sure looks the part.
His static night vision camera back in the hospital room captured what appears to be a black mist, manifesting and then disappearing into thin air. And at the same time, you can hear an unexplained moan.
Number 5. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Spitsbergen, Norway. One of the most secure places on Earth is this location, nicknamed the Doomsday Seed Vault. Located on an isolated Norwegian island in the Arctic Circle, the vault contains samples of as many seeds and plants that exist on the planet as the researchers there can acquire.
I have a quite good feeling when I'm in here and know that this is a resource that the future will need. Seed goes extinct every day.
The idea is that in the event of a global catastrophe or apocalyptic event, these important seeds and genomes will be preserved for humanity's future use.
They built this like they built the tunnels in the Alps with a big machine, big excavator. Took about 2 years to build.
Interesting.
And it's built to last for a very long time.
As of 2018, it only stored about 900,000 samples, but it has the potential to store as many as 4.5 million, hopefully safeguarding Earth's ecology from disaster. Anyway, as you can imagine, visits to the Seed Vault are pretty much entirely off limits, for obvious security reasons. Number 4. The Chapel of the Tablet, Axum, Ethiopia. The Ark of the Covenant is the legendary item that apparently contained the 10 Commandments.
Oh.
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, the chest the Hebrews used to carry around the 10 Commandments.
And today, it's supposedly kept safe and sound in a chapel in the Ethiopian Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. This house of worship has existed in some form since the 4th century, and its monks are tasked with guarding the Ark day and night for life.
And where is the Ark of the Covenant? Well, the Ethiopians, both Christians and Jewish Ethiopians, believe that's in a church in Ethiopia.
However, no one except one guardian monk each generation has ever been allowed to see the Ark itself, casting doubt on their claims. What's more, only men can enter the old church. Though, if the real Ark is as face-meltingly awesome as its cinematic counterpart, they're pretty sure even they'd be happy to keep their distance. Number 3. Lascaux Caves, Montignac, France. Discovered in 1940, this complex cave network is decorated with more than 600 primeval paintings by ancient cave people. Depicting various plants and animals, these works of art are thought to be roughly 17,000 years old. Obviously, this fascinating find intrigued the masses, and once they were open to the public in 1948, they began receiving over 1,000 sightseers per day. Sadly, with them, these visitors brought carbon dioxide, humidity, and other pollutants that severely damaged the images.
The famous cave of Lascaux had to be shut down because the breath of scores of tourists has caused mold to grow on the walls.
In 1963, the caves
Humans.
were closed to
Am I
anyone
right?
except restoration workers and archaeologists, though a replica was constructed for tourists to visit in the early 1980s. Today, due to further deterioration, the Lascaux Caves are even restricted to preservationists. Number 2. North Sentinel Island, Andaman Islands. The cliché of undiscovered tribes living in the wilderness and attacking foreigners on sight is alive and well when it comes to North Sentinel Island. This is technically an Indian territory, and the Indian government makes it clear that anybody who ventures to North Sentinel Island does so at their own risk.
Permission has very rarely been granted to visit the tribal areas.
This is because the native people are the most isolated group on the planet, and they've been known to violently attack and sometimes kill those who try to have contact with them.
They have nobody.
They were with their bows and arrows, and they were firing away arrows at our boat and aiming at the people who are making wrong kind of gestures.
The island is almost entirely untouched by modern civilization, and the Sentinelese will do anything to keep it that way. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
These are the reading rooms of the Vatican archives. Every year, some 1,500 scientists from all over the world come here to do research. But this is as far as anyone gets.
The explosions that erupted from the Chernobyl reactor vessel and the constant fire that continued for 10 days or so resulted in large amounts of radioactive materials being released into the environment. Evacuation of Pripyat took place.
Oh, Chernobyl.
Number 1. Area 51, Lincoln County, Nevada, USA. Probably the most mysterious place in America. Area 51 has captured the public's interest ever since stories about UFOs and aliens began to surface in the mid-20th century. This base didn't have its existence formally acknowledged by the CIA until 2013, when a Freedom of Information Act request for documents finally forced the government to declassify papers pertaining to the remote spot. According to these documents, the base's purpose was to test experimental planes during the Cold War, and not to hide evidence of aliens as is popularly thought, though this hasn't stopped people from speculating. Trespassing here could result in you being arrested, or worse, shot by U.S. soldiers.
Yeah, that's why I heard you get shot.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo.
I know there was that
and be
big
sure
deal
to
that
subscribe and ring the
they're
bell
gonna
to
have
be
a big
notified
group
about
of
our
people
latest
to
videos.
like run up on it, a raid or something. All right, stop that. That's Snake Island. That Snake Island can kiss my ass. Oof. That was the scariest one of all of them for me. And you go to any island, snakes, no. I'm not messing with that. No, ma'am. That's snakes. Ever since I was a kid, Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and they found that relic with all those snakes inside there, like just crawl. I mean, so many snakes, they were crawling over each other. That was so gross. It traumatized me for all life about snakes. I'm not a snake person, and they had the most venomous snake on that island. Ooh. No. Some of the other locations were kind of really, really interesting, really cool. But that Snake Island, no. And that was the first one they had on the list too. They weren't messing around. They're gonna get you on that one. But yeah, that was a really good video. I really enjoyed that. Educational. Because Lord knows the education system sucks anymore, so you get everything you can learn, educate yourself now on the internet, so It's a shame. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment below. Tell me how much you enjoyed this. And I'll have some more videos coming up like this. I'm trying to stay away from the music videos a little bit due to the fact that copyright claims. If I get Patreon ever started, then I'll probably start doing reaction videos of music videos onto that. If you become a Patreon on my Patreon, Patreon on my Patreon, a Patriot on my Patreon, a Patreon on my Patreon. But yeah, I'll probably start doing it there. But as far as on this channel, yeah, the copyright claims are just redundant. There's a couple songs I have on here that's not copyright claimed yet. My Righteous Brothers Unchained Melody and my Blackpink Sure Thing are not copyright claimed. So I'm not going to argue about that. They tried to take down they tried to block my little mix, but I got that unblocked and working. I just had to tweak a couple things to unblock it. And yeah, so that's the reason why I'm not doing too many music videos recently, you know. So hey, but y'all take care of yourself. This is the holiday. In 3 days, this is what, Sunday the 22nd. In a few days it's gonna be Christmas. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and hope to see you after Christmas. I'll have some more videos up then. I'll probably put up a couple videos up today and take a couple more days off, play some Fallout 4. I've been missing playing Fallout 4, and bye.